Right, it's all about the big game in Uyo. Nigeria Super Eagles up against the Bafana Bafana of South Africa, and it doesn't come bigger than this one. And everyone looking forward to it, and the interest cuts across the entire length and breadth of Africa, and it spreads out of the continent of Africa to other continents. And right now, as we speak, in the United States, some Nigerians are always going to be looking towards this side of the globe to see what will be happening with the Super Eagles. Right now, as we speak, a lot of people have been waiting to see what Finidi George has in store, what sort of quality he possesses as far as tinkering the team to deliver on the promise is concerned. And one person who is not in doubt of the ability of Finidi to lead the Super Eagles to glory is a former Super Eagles player. Well, maybe not Super Eagles then. It was the Green Eagles era. Back in 1984, he represented Nigeria at the Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. We're talking here of the vice captain of the Flying Eagles squad, the first Flying Eagles squad that qualified, the first team, as a matter of fact, that qualified Nigeria in a FIFA competition back in 1983, the FIFA Under-20 World Cup. And the vice captain is Paul Okoku. He is joining us all the way from the United States. And Paul Okoku, who now resides in the United States, he is a Nigerian chief in the United States, and he's joining us to talk about the Super Eagles and the match against South Africa. Paul, it's good to have you join us, Chief Paul Okoku.
Thank you so much, Ed, for that awesome introduction. You actually captured my playing time for the Flying Eagles 1983 set as a vice captain, and also during my playing time for the Super Eagles. Of course, back then we were referred to as the Green Eagles. Thank you for that introduction. It truly humbles me. Thank you.
Now let's get down to the business of the day. It's about the Super Eagles and the Bafana Bafana. How important is this game within the context of qualification for that big World Cup, the first World Cup that will be played across three nations, talking about Mexico, Canada, and the United States? How important is this game for the team and the coach?
Of course, the match against South Africa is very important. It's a pivotal match towards our qualification for the 2026 World Cup in Mexico, Canada, and the United States. Therefore, we can't afford to lose that match. Even a draw will be so devastating. Let me remind you that the South Africans are so determined to retaliate for losing to us during the last AFCON in Ivory Coast. They said that they made it public that their next match in June against the Super Eagles, that they're going to win. So I don't need to remind us about their determination. Therefore, for the Super Eagles to have a chance to win, they must be on their P's and Q's. They must come with their A game. Having said that, we have to be cautiously optimistic. This match also will test whether Finidi George is the right fit for the Super Eagles coach. I wish the Super Eagles nothing but the best of luck.
Okay, interesting. Let's talk about Finidi George, the man at the helm. How did you see his appointment? A lot of people have their own perspectives, their takes as far as his ability is concerned. What do you think of him? Do you see him as one who would lead the team out and then deliver what we all expect? That is the result, the success that we expect from the national team. Can Finidi George give us what we want?
The truth is, since the passing of Stephen Keshi, who was a highly successful Super Eagles coach, there has been a yearning for another indigenous coach who will fill his shoes. Now that Finidi George has been appointed the Super Eagles coach, though My caveat is I don't know much about his coaching career or his coaching credentials. But one thing that I do know, looking at him from afar, something about him resonates with me, and that is his humility and his humble demeanor. Um, Let me also remind you that he has had a distinguished professional football career. And I hope that that will translate into his coaching abilities. That said, another thing that he has going for him, he has been under a successful coach in Presario. They had a successful run during the last AFCON in Ivory Coast. And I'm hoping that that experience will help him prepare his boys against South Africa. All I can say to Finidi George is I wished him a continued success under his leadership.
And what will be your advice to him within the context of what is on ground? You sure will have some advice for Finidi George and maybe the players as well, as it concerns the task at hand.
Well, my advice to Finidi George is so simple. He needs to reflect on his experience from the last tournament in Ivory Coast, where he was one of the assistant coaches to Presario because they played well below expectations during the final match against the host country, Ivory Coast. What were the mistakes that they made? What will have caused the players to play way below expectations in a final match? Did Finidi George learn anything from those mistakes? Where today, as the chief coach, the head coach of the Super Eagles, he will have made adjustments to get the players ready and prepared to play against South Africa over the weekend. Has he done that? Under his instructions, can he get the players to play as a team, as a unit? Very important. Admittedly, these players have individual talents, but can they play as a team? That's what we all are looking forward to, and that's what we are hoping to see over the weekend when they play against South Africa.
And finally, I will not leave you without asking you about what you did. Yes, you and your colleagues, teammates in the class of 83 Nigeria's Flying Eagles squad, you did something. Scholarship to the son of Ali Jeje, your late captain who died. And you thought it wise to bring some sort of succor to his family and then his son. Scholarship to him. Tell us more about this.
Thank you, Ed, for that question. We, Flying Eagles 1983 set, was the first Nigerian national football team to any FIFA organized World Cup. It's very humbling that we have that record because there have been so many great players, so many good teams, national teams that were put together that never qualified Nigeria for the World Cup until we came on the scene and did what we felt was necessary at the time to sacrifice and qualify Nigeria for the first World Cup in Mexico 1983. That said, Ali Jeje was our captain. Of course, he is late now. Unfortunately, I was the vice captain of that historic team. So my team and I, that's Flying Eagles of 1983 set, have come together because we felt the need to do something meaningful for Ali Jeje's son by awarding him scholarship which is a life-changing opportunity to get his education. We as individuals and as a team, we believe in it. We believe in education, and we put premium on education. Let me tell you my personal quote about education. Education is not a guarantee for success, but without it, you don't stand a chance. So we believe this is the best way to honor Ali Jeje's memory as the first captain to lead a Nigerian national football team to a World Cup in Mexico in 1983. That's why we felt the need to do this for his son. And also to realize that when his father passed, he was so young. He was a little baby that he never had a chance to truly know his father.
Right. We want to end by thanking you, as always, thanking you for your time with us, sharing your time, your perspectives, those insightful analysis as far as football is concerned, and then bringing us memories, yes, that many would not remember. And then, of course, it's always nice to have you. Chief Paul Okoku, thank you very much. We will be calling on you some other time, and we hope that you will oblige us.
It's always my pleasure to provide my perspective on Nigerian football on your program. It's very humbling for me personally. And so, thank you for that.
All right, thank you. And that was Paul Okoku, a Nigerian who now resides in the United States, a former Super Eagles player, former Green Eagles player, former national team player, who is so sure that Nigeria will make it count when it comes to that game against South Africa, and subsequently other games as far as the qualifying runs for the World Cup in the United States, Canada, and Mexico is concerned in 2026. He believes that Finidi George can do it, and we believe as well. And we hope that it begins with a very resounding victory for the Super Eagles this Friday at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo. It's still very much Sports Extra, and we will be talking about the Bundesliga in a moment, where we connect with Chris Harrington from our partner station, the DW in Berlin.